Hey guys, it's Austin. Back another video for you. Um, I wanted to make this video here and see if it happens. If it happens, it don't. It don't. If it does, it does. The beef was like 5 years ago, so I don't. It may happen. Let's do it.
With MGK, you also have a song with Eminem.
Yeah.
Oh,
These guys are mortal enemies.
Yeah.
And somehow you are so talented that you are positioned in between both of them, and they're like, I still want to work with Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
How do you manage that?
Man, the first thing is honesty,
Okay.
right? You got to come into both parties honest.
How do you talk to M?
Well, so Paul is, and I always bring up Paul in interviews because I feel like he never gets brought up enough.
Paul
for what
is
he's-
Paul
Yeah,
Rosenberg,
Paul
Eminem's.
Rosenberg has
Yeah.
been Eminem's manager since Eminem's had a manager.
Okay.
Lifelong Detroit homie kind
Yep.
of shit. Like
Yeah.
really cool Inception story. Cool story about
That's true. He's been his manager since day one.
Eminem is his I believe his publicist, his assistant who kind of runs the record label. I don't want to call her assistant because she's so much more.
Sure.
But he's had like the same 4 people around him for his entire career.
Wow.
Entire career.
Amazing.
So you don't really talk to, he's the wizard, man. He's the biggest selling
course.
artist of our generation. He sold more records than Elvis. You know what I mean? I mean, it's insane when you think about how big. You don't really get to see the wizard a lot.
Yeah.
But I've seen the wizard now and hung out with him, and he's a fucking great guy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He's really down to earth. He's super honest, and he's very intentional with his words. And we hung out on video set for 12 hours.
Wow.
Just like dicking around. To show you his personality, he walks in my green room going, "Somebody shave me. I need some Gillette." He said, "We can get you a deal there." And just fucking funny
that's the
guy.
first
So
interaction
the first
you
thing,
have.
no, the first one we had is when we're singing. I'll tell you that story too, but just let me
He is a very funny character.
praise Paul for 2 more minutes.
Okay, yeah.
He deserves it. Paul has always been trying to get me and M together. Like every time I've seen Paul, he's like, if Marshall don't understand anybody else, he's gonna get you. When he gets you, he's gonna get you. And he's telling me this for like since I met him when he was working with Yellow Wolf a decade ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know what I mean? So like Paul has been that champion for me the whole way. So Paul calls and he's like, "Send me the Save Me record." And I'm like, y'all mind if I tell this story first? Because it's hard to get into all
Please.
this.
Yeah. This
Yes.
is what
Because I don't
it's
think I've told this one like his. So Paul calls and he's like, "Send the stems to the Save Me record." He calls John Manili, my manager. Now keep in mind, John Manili managed Jay for a while. So they've already worked. They have they're friends for real for 30 years now. They've been in the business together for 25 years. So he hits John Manili. He's like, "Yo, send over Save Me. I think Marshall wants to fuck with it." And that's all he said. So you know me, I'm like, you know how rap works. I'm like, I'm fixing to get an Eminem remix. Like, he's just going to drop a verse in my lap one day. Like, I don't know when, and I don't care. Whenever it comes, just thank you, God, you know? And I had already told Kells that story back then. And Kells is a real friend. You know, where Kells is just like, "Yo, that's huge. Keep me posted." You know what I'm saying? Like, he's cheering for me, like, at heart.
And that's so dope to hear that. Like, that should be how friends should be.
His heart is like, you know what I mean? Like, "Yo, man, you don't have a problem with
Kells
that
being
guy."
MGK.
Yeah, Kells
yeah.
being MGK. He's like, "Yo, you don't have a problem." So this is like, I probably shouldn't stamp it too much, but this is 18 months ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like,
Okay, yeah.
I get to the point I don't think it's coming.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just like, it didn't happen. It's whatever, you know, it works. And then I get the call. It's like, "Yo, it's going on the record. It's closing the record." I'm like, "What?" Second single. They want to shoot a video. Now, keep in mind, me and Kells we hung out at the Grammys. We had both lost, and we ended up on what we call the loser tour that night. We went to all these like weird, crazy like Illuminati parties. It felt like it was so fucking weird, dude. And we went to like
Baby
3 or
old
4 of them.
bashes.
Like it was no baby old bashes. But I went in and we went to all these weird parties, and he had played me the idea for Lonely Road that night. So this is,
Bella,
3-4
stop
months
it.
after me and Kells have already worked on 2 or 3 records together. We're hanging out every day. I'm in LA a bunch. I don't have a friend out there. I only know him.
Yeah.
It's like, still, you talk about when I pull up on you, Bubba, you're my only friend here. What do you mean I'm going to pull up on you? I don't know nobody. You know what I'm saying? You're my only friend.
Well, that makes me feel less special.
I'm saying like I love you. I'm looking for
love
my
you too, bro.
Bubba. You know what I'm saying? So me and him are hanging every day, and I'm like, "Yo, this Eminem thing's real." I was like, "It's fixing to come out, and they want to do all this." Now we're already in there. Now on the other side, John's having to do straight business with Paul. Like, "Hey, Paul, you know, Kells and Jelly have known each other for 15 years on and off. They were beefing. Jelly dissed him. I was a hater back then. It's a whole other fun story.
Yeah.
It's like, but they, they're buddies. And here's where Paul's a good dude too. Paul's like, yo, man, we love Jelly, man. Just appreciate you telling us.
Yeah.
Never got brought up.
Wow.
My heart is always to bring them together one day because I see so much more of them in each other than they know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, I hadn't really brought it up to Marshall yet because I'm still kind of glad that I'm still in that circumference to be
Let's make this shit happen for real.
to have them conversations. But I do see, like, there's so much more in them than not. But like I also gave Kel some perspective too, it's like we all grew up watching Eminem take over the game early. Like, if you got mentioned in an Eminem song, it was like getting mentioned in a comedy special.
Yeah.
You were on fucking fire.
Yeah.
You couldn't be hotter if you got mentioned in an Eminem special or an HBO special.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? An Eminem song or an HBO special is what you wanted your name to be brought up.
I also think that beef between MGK and Eminem, like that verse from MGK was, I think, the most...
It's underrated, actually.
I thought it was rated. Like, I think most people looked at that and they were like, whoa, this was way better than I thought. And then I think Eminem's verse, I don't think people thought that he absolutely knocked him out the park. Like, I thought that the reaction to it was, this is more competitive than we thought it was going to be. So I think that MGK's respect went up.
Well, what's interesting is over time, it's changed. In the moment, I remember that being the response. And now when people look back on it, they're like, oh, Eminem ended MGK's rap career. Because MGK transitioned into other stuff, and so I think the narrative got rewritten that way. But I remember in the moment, people being like, yo, I don't think MGK necessarily got destroyed. But yeah,
only thing I'll say to touch on this, because I'm on a slippery slope.
Yeah, you gotta be very careful. Just not.
Is everything Andrew just said right now, I want the flagrant listeners to know he said to MGK, I watch y'all have this same conversation together, which I think is super cool. But here's how I feel. Look, man, they're going to get together one day eventually. It's inevitable. The world's a circle. You know what I mean? And I think that they're going to find each other's heart more than they don't. And if they never do connect that way, I think that it did more for both of them than it did to hurt either one of them. Yeah. Whether either party ever fully acknowledged that. What MGK did after that, I don't think had anything to do with the beef as much as his just heart and what his spirit was music. Because he technically dropped, I think, Hotel Diablo was the project right after the M beef. Don't quote me. But it was it was the mainstream sellout, and it was the Tickets to My Downfall that changed.
Yeah.
We're talking about a couple of the biggest albums. They'll go down as the biggest albums of this generation in pop, in pop punk and punk rock, and maybe in rock and roll, like new music from new recording artists. In 10 years of rock music, I think those albums will be the biggest selling.
So that's the thing that, like,
let that one sit.
Yeah, no, and I told him this shit too. Like, what I saw is him as a rapper, knew him as a rapper. Yeah. Then I saw him become an arena acts rock star.
Yeah.
And I knew that I was getting old because I was like, what is happening? What happened? Did you feel that way as well?
I didn't know when the switch happened.
Yeah. But he went to arenas.
Yeah.
And so something must have been resonating with the rock music on a different level than rap. I also think it's hard to be like an arena rap star. Like, how many arena rap?
That's so dope. Let's make this shit happen, y'all. Let's get it out there. Later, guys.